The Paul McShane Derby, as it's known fondly around the country. Well, maybe not. But Sunderland played Rochdale today, which saw the return of one of our former heroes, Paul McShane. Yeah, it still doesn't sound right. In fact, what I found funny about Paul McShane was I saw a picture of him when he was at Sunderland when he was 21 years old, and I'll put it on the screen now. How is that guy 21 years old there? How is he still playing now? So yeah, random aside on Paul McShane, the real main event today was Sunderland against Rochdale. Rochdale rooted to the bottom of League One, and Sunderland clawing their way towards, hopefully, a promotion. But obviously I'm expecting to have my heart ripped out at some point. So let's just jump straight into the match. Very early doors, Sunderland take the lead. It's a perfect start. Ian McGeady with a free kick, fouled by Conor McLaughlin's brother, actually, get that one. Brilliant cross. Dion Sanderson just totally unmarked at the back post. Rochdale just totally leaving him there, just like, yeah, go on. Free header, just knock it in yourself. And Dion Sanderson obliges, scores his first goal for Sunderland. Boom, powers it in. 1-0 to the Black Cats. And at this point, I'm like, I've got like full-on expectations that this is going to be a very comfortable afternoon. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be totally chill now. We'll probably get like a second, maybe a third. We'll relax. It'll be nice. But actually, Rochdale kind of turned it on a little bit from that point, and they looked actually pretty decent. And I was surprised, obviously, the rooted bottom of the league. I knew they liked to play football, but I thought we'd have more than enough for them. But I remember they were actually decent earlier in the season when we drew 2-2 when we had Phil Parkinson in charge. I was like, yeah, I think we'll have more than enough. But Rochdale, they were impressive, and they easily could have had a goal. They missed a few sitters, but it was Sunderland who got the second goal before half-time. A lovely little move, interplay between McGeady and Jordan Jones. Jordan Jones then putting this absolutely inspired ball into the area, which is just begging for somebody to head it in. Unfortunately, Sunderland's got a striker at the minute who's scoring goals like Kevin Phillips, and he just powers the head in into the bottom corner. 2-0 Sunderland. Jobs are good. And really, even though Rochdale had impressed, to think that they might score 2 goals against us, that I didn't feel like it was likely, especially with the way, we've not really been conceding goals. And I didn't think that I was worried for the second half. And I was right to not be worried, because Sunderland controlled the second half. I can't recall Rochdale really having that many chances. We were comfortable. There wasn't really much in the game at that point, but our quality showed. Just look at the stats there. The stats are pretty much even. The difference is, though, is we've got players with quality. Today, it was Aidan McGeady's cross to a powerful centre-back, and then it was a Jordan Jones cross to a striker who's in form. It was the little bits of quality around the pitch that benefit, and when Rochdale had their chances, they lack quality, which is why they're at the bottom of the league. They're not actually a bad football team, they're just not clinical. And when you're at the top, you need to be clinical. There's going to be games like that today where, our last few home games have kind of been like this, where it's literally just been the margins of quality, and we've got it at the minute. We're showing that, and to win 2-0 today, yeah, maybe we could have won. Maybe before the game you might have wanted a little bit more than that, but ultimately that's what we've got to do at this stage of the season. We've only got 14 games left. We've got home matches. We've got to win them. We've got to win them comfortably, so we're not chasing a game or desperately clawing to get the win. And this afternoon was as comfortable as it gets. And I think the thing I'm noticing at the minute, more so than any time we've been in this league, is the fact that we used to always make a meal of these home games. We always used to have panic, and we used to concede the first goal and then chase the game. Whereas under Lee Johnson, it feels like we're getting routine home wins, and we've not really had that since the first half of the Jack Ross season. So I've been impressed with that, and I've been impressed with the home form in recent weeks. Because we're winning games at home. We need to flip that to the away form, because that's dropped off a little bit. And we'll talk about the game against Portsmouth on Tuesday, but yeah, happy with the win today. So in terms of talking points from the game, the main thing really was seeing that Ollie Younger was starting in there at right back, and I thought he did enough. He looked a little bit shaky, but that's to be expected. And he made a very, very important interception just before half time with his head. And yeah, I think he proved that he can be useful at this level. I'm not saying he should be starting every single game, but it's a player there that we should be scared of throwing in if we're having injury troubles. And of course, our defence is absolutely riddled with injuries. So to have another option in there that you can rely on is important. And speaking of the defence, Wyke and Dion and Dion Sanderson, they're building up quite a good little partnership. You can see Wyke and Dion isn't a centre-back, but the fact that he's plugging in there and, isn't really letting the team down is very impressive. It's just testament to how important he is to us. I see some fans seem to not like Wyke and Dion. There's a little section of Sunderland supporters that don't. That's strange to me, because I think he's exactly what you want in your football club. The way he's integrated himself into the area, but also the way he presents himself on the pitch. He's a player that you want, and you can see how much he's grown as a player, and he fills in absolutely everywhere, doesn't complain. So, impressed with the both of them. Dion Sanderson's an absolute stud. He's just exactly what you want. Powerful as a centre-back, got skill, good passer of the ball, intelligent. He's got all the things you want from a centre-back, and if Sunderland get promoted, maybe we might have a chance of signing him. But I think even then, it's possible that Wolves might look at the way he's playing at the minute and think, well, actually, he might do a job for them. Certainly being maybe their third or fourth centre-back in the Premier League. So at one point in the second half, I noticed we had Charlie Wyke, Aidan O'Brien, Aidan McGeady, Jordan Jones and Chris Maguire on the pitch, which to me just shows the attacking intent of our manager. We're winning the game 2-0. We're comfortable. And he's just like, yeah, you know what? We'll just throw on more attacking players. And that's the best way to defend this, is to pressure Rochdale and keep pressuring them. And it really worked, because Rochdale didn't really have a sniff in the second half, and we spent most of the time in their half. And we pinned them back. And that was because of the attacking substitution. So fair play to Lee Johnson there. I was sort of wondering, kind of playing midfield as at fullbacks, as per the typical Sunderland way, but also seeing, us have only one actual central midfielder in centre mid, which is their actual position. Fair play, it worked though. So Lee Johnson, fair play for that one. 4 clean sheets in 5 games, and we've only got 1 fit centre back. Not really more needs to be said about that. That is kudos to everyone, kudos to the whole team, because you defend from every position. Very impressive. If you told me we would be without Bailey Wright, Jordan Willis, Tom Flanagan, we'll be relying on Dion Sanderson, who we hadn't actually seen play a significant run of games, and Luke O'Nien, who's not a centre back, and we would keep 4 clean sheets from 5, I would have bitten your hand off. And fair play to the team for building a defensive shape without 2 centre backs. The one concern though, which hopefully will be eradicated soon, but McFadzean, I just thought again today, he's a liability. He's continually just positionally wrong. I know I'm not a footballer, so what does my opinion matter? But I just watch the game and I just wonder what he's doing half the time. Showing men inside of him, letting people get in behind him. That yellow card he took in the first half was just ridiculous. It was stupid. Denver Hume's back in training though. That's the only positive we can take from this, and hopefully that means that he can be the starting left back and McFadzean can fill in. The only thing I will say is McFadzean has played a lot of games, and while I think he has been a little bit of a liability, he has plugged in there, because ultimately, what you're going to do if you don't have another left back. He's got to play the games. He's not my favourite player, but there isn't really another option there. And looking ahead, Portsmouth on Tuesday, and they got absolutely destroyed today against Northampton. 4-0 down at half time, lost the game 4-1. It's an absolute must-win game, because if you look at the league table at the minute, which I'll put on screen as I'm clicking over to it myself, it's tight up there. We'll go through the top 8. Ipswich 50 points. They lost today against Gillingham. I've included them in the video of promotion, but that defeat there probably knocks their chances for automatic very, very much so. Accrington Stanley 50 points in 7th. Portsmouth now in 6th with 52 points, 1 win in their last 5. They're really, really struggling at the minute. Now that result could be the nail in Kenny Jackett's coffin, and if you think if Kenny Jackett is sacked, it's a turnaround. You've got to bring in a new manager and get their ideas in. It might give you that massive positive effect. You might get a honeymoon period, but I'd worry about Portsmouth. They're slipping potentially out of the playoffs. Doncaster in 5th, they won today. They're on 55, 2 games in hand on Sunderland as well. So Doncaster are in a pretty good position really, because if they win both their games, they go up to 61, which puts them in 3rd. Sunderland, of course, 4th, 57 points. Whether the informed side in the league, it's fair to say at this point, especially since Peterborough lost today, who were in 2nd. Lincoln won today, ending a run of 3 games without a win. They're on 60 points. And then Peterborough and Hull. Hull won today, but they've played 2 more games than everyone. So yes, they're top of the league with 62, but they've only got 12 games left. We've seen games in hand don't necessarily mean anything. Would you rather have the points on the board? In Sunderland's case, we're 5 points behind Hull. So you probably would rather be in Hull's position because they've got them points on the board. No, I think that's realistic, because we'd have to win both them games to catch up and take over them. And that's the table in itself. I think that the league table is fascinating. It's changing. Today was a day in which Peterborough were the big losers, because they lost and then the teams around them won. But we just need to keep looking after ourselves, keep winning games. Teams will drop points, and that's where we are. We've got to plough on. We've put ourselves in a good position after not a bad start of the season, but when Phil Parkinson left, Lee Johnson came in, there was so much to change. Form wasn't immediately amazing. And now it feels like everything's clicking in the right direction. We've got a goal scorer who's just banging them in for fun. We've got creative players. We look like we're going to score in every single game. So there's a lot to be positive for. It's going to be tight to the end of the season. Let's just look forward to it. The other thing to mention is the fact that next Sunday we play Tranmere in the Football League Trophy final, the Pizza Trophy. And while it's disappointing that we can't go, it's a chance to win at Wembley for the first time since 1973. So it's going to be a big, big day, and that could be momentum builder as well, because if we win that game, get a trophy under our belt, you know, we've got a real chance to build momentum. We're lucky as well. We play Accrington after that on the Wednesday, and then we play Lincoln on the Saturday at home, but then we've got a week off. That week could be pretty big to get some energy back in the legs and, you know, go over some tactics and training, but just take it easy a little bit, because it's been a relentless schedule this season for everyone in the league, to be fair, but in particular us, because we went so far in the Football League Trophy. But there we are. I'll wrap this one up for the day. It's a big win, and let me know in the comments how happy you are to see us win again. Comfortable, I would say, this afternoon, and exactly what we need. You know, the home form's improving dramatically from where it was. We've got a big week. Portsmouth, if we win that game, then, you know, really the momentum's on our side, especially since they lost it on today by such a heavy scoreline. But they could be out for, you know, not necessarily revenge, but out to make amends. They could have a new manager by then, who knows. So it's going to be interesting. And then, of course, we go into that Sunday game. Hopefully, by the end of that, we'll have a trophy in the cabinet, which would be nice. So thanks for watching today's video. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed. And yeah, let's hope it's a fun week coming up.